I'm not supposed to be on this camera right now. Hold on. Hold on. This is so embarrassing. Welcome to episode 6, Breaking the Cycles. This has been a very invigorating, powerful, moving series on abuse. We've had episodes on talking to the abuser, talking to the victims. Can adults be groomed? Honesty, the void, and now we're talking about breaking the cycle. All right. Let's just cut to the chase here. What is happening to you 9.9 times out of 10 is not by accident. 9.9 times out of 10, it's happening to you because it's already happened to you. Let me say this. You are either going to be a victim of the cycle or a victor of the cycle. And you know the difference? How you address family patterns. Well, we're starting real strong. How you address family patterns is going to make you a victim of the cycle or a victor of the cycle. And we're going to be talking about that today. I have a very, very special guest with me. Shuantae Charles is going to be with us momentarily, and we are going to be having a candid, open discussion about breaking the cycles. Now, we're also going to be highlighting an interview I did with her last week that's going to be premiering tomorrow at 5 p.m. on this YouTube channel, where she talks about, Lord, first of all, her story is, the fact that she's even here right now is amazing. She talks about the pattern of abuse that she learned later on that grandma experienced and mama experienced. And then we have a very open, great discussion about how to address the pattern, the family pathology, and what to do. It's power packed. But before we get into it, I want you guys to do me a favor and like, share, subscribe, and comment. How you doing, Falana? How you doing, Thomas? Good to see you. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run a quick 60-second commercial. Don't go anywhere, because when I come back, Shuantae Charles is going to be on, and we're gonna talk all the things of the talk. And I'm gonna also preview three clips I'm going to preview to you of tomorrow's full episode, which will be on this YouTube channel public tomorrow at 5 p.m. As well, before I run the commercial as well, I'm opening up the lines like we always do. So at the end of the show, I'm going to open up the lines, and you're going to be able to come on, ask questions, leave your comments live with us. All right, give me 60 seconds. Don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. I would love for you to join our email community. In the description box of this video is a link. You click it, put your name and email address in the information, press submit, and you are going to be a part of our email community. But guess what? You got to check your spam box because there's a double opt-in. So you got to confirm that you truly meant to sign up. Would you like to be notified every time we go live? There's a simple way to do that. Join our free text club. All you got to do is text V Terrell Hill to this number, 833-458-3658. You just text it. Text V Terrell Hill to 833-458-3658. All right, this is the last announcement, and then we're going back to the content. I am gifted to help people become their best self, and I want to offer you a free consultation. There has never been one person that has had a free consultation with me that did not leave better than when they came, all right? All of that information I just went over is in the description box connected to this video. All right, let's get back to the content. Welcome back to episode 6, Breaking the Cycles. And I have my very good friend with me, Shuantae Charles. Shantae, tell us something nice right quick.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
That's all you're going to say, Shantae? Talk to us real quick. You have on your lower third mental abolitionists. Explain to us what that means before we get into.
So mental abolitionist is a name that the Father gave to me. And when I say Father, I mean Creator. Mm-hmm. And it basically means that I'm sent to help people abolish mental blocks.
I love that. Sent to help people abolish mental blocks. All right. Before we get into the actual interview that we had last week, let's discuss a Jana Van Zant quote real quick. Family pathology creates embedded behavior, which gets repeated over and over until you finally decide that it's time to get unstuck. Now, this is about, the rest of this is about some, a show she was talking about. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it does repeat. Mm-hmm. And you do have to make a decision to do that. Mm-hmm. And I like to say you have to do the inner work.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I coach a lot of people through a program that I founded where I talk about soul freedom and soul work. Mm-hmm. And I take them through 33 days of working on themselves.
I love that. Why 33 days? Odd number.
Well, 33 for me is a divine number.
Got it. Okay.
But I will say it takes 21 days to break a pattern and 21 days to form a pattern. Mm-hmm. And then an additional 7 days to make sure that that pattern is broken.
I love that.
And I take people through a time of fasting and consecration before they start, and then a conclusion at the end.
Now, interesting enough, here's how I look at it. I look at it like this. I tell people all the time, before you reach the age of 5, you have a prophecy over your life. And you determine whether that prophecy comes to pass or not. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about you're going to be a mighty wonder and you're going to be this. You're going to be a drug addict, an alcoholic, astute in education. Your path is already created for you unless you defy it. You have to break the cycle. Now, if you're lucky enough, blessed enough, or whatever term you use, you come out of the womb of people who've already done the work. And it's not that hard. You could relish in the gift you were given. But many people come out of their mother's womb already in a deficit. And they're wondering, like, I try, I work hard, and I'm going around the same path, the same circle, the same mountain over and over again. It's because what you don't realize is the cycle has not been broken. And that is what we're talking about today. And let me set this up. I was pre-interviewing Shantae for to do another type of show on abuse, and she shared with me her story and we scrapped the whole script. I said, no, 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 no. We got to do a whole episode on this. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today, Shantae. Before we even get into your story, talk about the, I'm going to say ignorance, the true lack of knowledge when it comes to cycles and how people live them, whether they choose to live them or not.
Well, first of all, you can't drop what you just dropped. And I don't have a chance to respond to that.
Oh, go
Because you just be around here just dropping stuff.
No, go ahead.
When you first came on here just now, talking about knowing who you are when you come out of the womb, or having some idea of that.
Yes.
When I was 4, my mom, who you're going to hear about in her story, she had me tested. You know, the whole IQ test thing.
Right.
And when they got that score back, I went up to my mom and I was like, well, what did I get? And she said, I'm not going to tell you your score, but you have the power to either save the world or destroy it.
Yeah.
And that has stayed with me as a seed from 4 years old to now.
Wow.
And that's the power of a word spoken to you at a young age.
Correct. Yeah.
So I wanted to say that because what you said initially was super powerful. That if you understand who you are, even as you're going through those trials, those situations, those struggles, you have something in the background of all of that.
Yes.
That becomes almost your North Star.
Absolutely. I call that going home. It's a phrase we've been using in this abuse series. Now, here's where we're going to get in trouble. Because we get stuck. We haven't even got started yet. This was supposed to be like the intro soft talk. But I call it, Shantae, going home. And if you're watching, just don't leave us hanging. Talk to us in the comments, because I'm going to be reading the comments up next. I'm going to talk about going home, and then I'm going to ask you a question, and then we'll take a commercial break and then actually get into segment 1. Going home is likened to what you said. If you ever get in trouble, go home. What do I mean by that? What is in me that was passed down from my lineage that I can use to get me out of this? Because it's not all just about, breaking the cycle. I believe every bloodline got something working for them too. My bloodline, it was spirituality. So that if I ever get in a bind, lean on my spirit, because that's what was passed down to me. And so it's this ideal of returning back to your source self. But you can't return back to a space that you don't know exists.
Right.
And so before we even get to breaking the cycles, we got to be clear. Everybody needs to be clear. There is a cycle that needs to be addressed. There
Absolutely.
is a home, whether you realize it or not, that needs to be visited. And when you go to that home, you get the data on not just how to lose, but how to win, which was you talking about that North Star. Let me ask you this. You mentioned earlier, you used a term about doing the soul work. Explain what that means, soul work.
So when I say do the soul work, I'm talking about your mindset, your emotional intelligence, and your spiritual work. But I don't leave out the other parts of yourself. So I focus on these components: spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, emotional, and sexual. Because to me, your soul is integrating all of those parts of yourself.
All of the above. Absolutely. I love that. All right, what we're going to do real quick, I'm going to run a 60-second commercial. Okay, so we're going to be gone for a while, but you don't want to miss this. I'm going to run the 60-second commercial again. Then I'm going to run the first clip that we're going to be discussing when we come back. Because before she was this mental abolitionist, she was a victim that could have stayed a victim. And we're going to talk about that a little bit when we come back. Do me a favor. If you're just coming on, like, share, subscribe, and comment. I don't really see a lot of comments in here, but I guess that's warranted. That's on brand. And that was being shady. And but I'm going to run this quick advert real quick. And then we're going to run a segment one. We'll be right back. I would love for you to join our email community. In the description box of this video is a link. You click it, put your name and email address in the information, press submit, and you are going to be a part of our email community. But guess what? You got to check your spam box because there's a double opt-in. So you got to confirm that you truly meant to sign up. Would you like to be notified every time we go live? There's a simple way to do that. Join our free text club. All you got to do is text V Terrell Hill to this number, 833-458-3658. You just text it. Text V Terrell Hill to 833-458-3658. All right, this is the last announcement, and then we're going back to the content. I am gifted to help people become their best self, and I want to offer you a free consultation. There has never been one person that has had a free consultation with me that did not leave better than when they came, all right? All of that information I just went over is in the description box connected to this video. All right, let's get back to the content.
But during that time, and I say grooming because my stepfather, he would have us doing certain things for him, like rubbing his feet, rubbing his back. You know, he would be half dressed and he would, ask us to come in and rub his back. So you had this sort of like touching someone intimately and, having children touch you intimately and making it sort of a normalized part of what you did. Because anytime he wanted his feet rubbed and anytime he wanted his back rubbed, it was, oh, tell so-and-so to come here and perform, this activity. So, looking back, I was able to kind of see that as a form of grooming. Around that same year, I was taken along with another family member. We were often with him because my mom was working a lot. She was working all the time. And so he was with us most of the time when he was not driving trucks, because he was a truck driver. And so during the day, he would have us, during the day doing errands or whatever with him. And I remember one time I was in the back seat and my other family member was in the passenger seat, and he drove us out to like this wooded area, and he stopped and he got out and he opened the door and he took the other family member and he said, we're going into the woods and we're going to be back. Now, I remember it was, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or something. It was a long time for me as a kid, right? To just be waiting in this car, like, where did they go? So he comes back with the relative and, she's sitting in the car and she's very quiet, very non-responsive. And then he looks at me and he says, do you want to come into the woods? And I don't know what it was, but something in me just said no. And it was a very bold, no, I don't want to do this. Right. And he didn't take me.
Woo! Good Lord. And listen, that is just a small piece of Shantae's story. If you want to hear the whole piece, the entire interview will be airing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Shantae, good God, how did you survive that?
I would say having something instilled within me that, I don't know if it was, I can't say I had faith
Uh-huh.
at that time.
Hmm.
Because when that happened, I was maybe 9, 10.
Right. Right.
But I had a praying grandmother
Wow.
who said, pay attention. And you'll find out, more about my mom's story.
Yeah.
But my household was mom atheistic, not really believing in God,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
turned away from what she had been taught.
Right.
And then my stepfather and his practice of Satanism.
So you had an atheistic mom and a occult, satanic worshiping stepfather.
Yes.
Good God. Okay, gotcha. Um, that being said, now I need to say this: Safe Space, the overall overarching organization that runs all of this, we don't discriminate on religion and belief. So what I'm about to ask next does not have anything to do with her mother or her father, because, and I'm not trying to be shady, but this same thing goes on in the Christian space, the Muslim space, the Buddhist space. So it definitely got nothing to do with the God you serve. Just point blank period. But give us some input on how family structure aids in abusive situations.
Family structure aiding.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In abusive situations.
So if your family structure is one where there's lack of communication,
Mm.
that can aid in it.
Yes.
If your family structure is your children being left alone
Mm-hmm.
and you not really having the time
Mm-hmm.
to look after them,
Mm.
that can aid in it.
Right. Right.
So those are two main things that definitely can aid in.
Yeah, and we talk about this in depth in the show, in in the interview that we're airing tomorrow, where communication literally can save or destroy a family structure.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a family, like if you're a parent and you're watching this right now, and you're one of those, I don't talk that much, and I don't talk with my kids, you're literally, you are literally possibly putting your family structure at harm, because where there is where there's a lack of communications, there is an abundance of voids. And would you say that that is how your story was able to exist, because of this kind of lack of communication or lack of family structure?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
We were, I would say, isolated at the time
yeah. Mm-hmm.
from my extended family
Mm.
because I have a huge extended family.
Okay.
But during that time,
Mm-hmm.
we had been moved to another neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
we had been isolated,
Right.
and that stepfather had been engaging in domestic violence in front of us.
Wow. 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 So that's interesting, because that's something I never thought about too. How, all right, you have like two sisters and they're at odds, right? And let's say one sister is a single parent, and now nephew or niece is being abused. And because there's a gap between aunts, nephew or niece can't even reach out to aunt so and so for help, because there's a gap. I don't think that we can spend too much time on the importance of breaking the cycle, because, and this is a little bit offbeat, but I think we have become comfortable, generally speaking, with breakdowns in the family structure, even when it comes to, I don't talk to my sister no more. I don't trust my sister and her kids. And it's like, who are you going to lean on? Who are you going to, like, I went through this space of time without having a great relationship with my parents. But I didn't need it then, but God knows I need it now. And so you don't know when you're going to need to lean on family. And I am burdened by the lack of value and family in today's culture?
Two things.
Uh-huh.
In the news today,
Okay.
there was a Senate hearing
Mm-hmm.
where all the heads of social media had to give an account for the lives of children taken through predators
Wow.
having access to them through social media.
Wow. Wow.
Zuckerberg got up in the chamber
Uh-huh.
and apologized to all of the parents there
Wow.
whose children had been unalived
Wow.
because a predator
Mm.
contacted them
Mm-hmm.
through social media.
Right. Right.
So you have again,
Right.
just on today,
Right.
an example of that lack of parental communication
Right.
that left the void
Right.
for the predator to come in
Yeah.
through social media.
Right. Right. Right.
And then the second thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
as I got older,
Mm-hmm.
between 14 and 17,
Uh-huh.
because my family did reconnect, I had been through trauma,
Right.
but I reconnected with my extended family.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And so I had the aunts, I had the uncles
Mm-hmm.
that were trying to help my mom
Mm-hmm.
reel me back in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But by then, and you'll see tomorrow, I've already been traumatized.
it was all it was it was the deeds had already been done.
Exactly.
And as Shantae said, when we say we'll see tomorrow, what we're saying is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're premiering the actual interview. If you have been on and you heard the little piece of story about her stepfather, then you ain't heard half of it. And I said to her during the interview, and I say now, it's the grace of God that you're here right now. Let's play clip 2 real quick, and then we're going to come back and discuss that. Be right back.
So, one of the things, the major thing, like you said, is teaching your children and not leaving it up to guesswork.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is not allowing children rights to their person and their bodies.
Explain
We talk
that.
about how is it able to happen. Your children goes over someone's house and they say, I don't feel comfortable around this person. And you still make them be around that person. Or I don't want to hug this person. And you still insist. Well, that's so-and-so. You better hug them. You can't treat them like that. You must do it. So you're taking away their autonomy. At a very young age, you're taking away their right to choose.
Yeah, you're teaching them to go against their instincts early on.
And I will say with the person that, like I said, I walked in on their CSA happening, when we got to the part about how could this have happened, my stepfather wrote a letter to that relative saying that I have permission to do this to you, and signed that relative's guardian's name on the paper. It was wicked. So she was admitting to it because she literally thought she was being given over by the guardian to let that happen to her.
And if there would have been any kind of close relationship of communication, I'm gonna go back to this communication part. If there would have been communication, it would have been really simple for this family member to go to guardian and be like, Guardian, is this real? So that is a prime example of why communication is important. If you're watching this, whether the live or the replay, communication is an important ingredient in breaking the cycle. Now, we have a comment here. Shantae, Philani Williams-Jones says, how did they receive you? Talking about your extended family.
Oh, they had no problem receiving me. They've always loved me, and it was an opportunity for them to wrap their arms around me Like to this day, I'm still very close to my aunts and my uncles.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my Aunt Betty. She saved me from being snatched up
Wow.
by my mother many times.
Wow.
There was a period of time where I was sent to live with her because my mom was like, this girl is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really because of what I learned last week, that early sexual debut
Mm-hmm.
and being introduced to things before the age of 14.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a blessing, because it's one thing to be rejected, put to the side by family, and then you go to reach out to your extended family, and they're like, I mean, I guess, So that is a blessing. I got my foot on this, and I don't want to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, you got to communicate with your family members. And even if maybe it is impossible to do, you have to create a family. It is not the Creator's design for anyone to be isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that's so heavy on me, but I just need to say that one more time. Your isolation is more of a trick of deception than it is protection for you. And if you want to break this cycle, you cannot break it by yourself. Even for the fact you need the data from your DNA, you got to understand the story. As a matter of fact, and let's segue into that, Shantae. You had to backtrack, and look for the pattern.
Yes.
Can you talk about, and she's going to go it's in detail in the show, but talk a little bit about tracking the pattern of abuse in your life.
So, what led me to tracking
Mm-hmm.
was an essay
Uh-huh.
experience
Uh-huh.
in my freshman year of college.
Right.
And that caused me, because of the response I was receiving from some of my female family members,
Right.
that made me say, go back.
Mm.
Because by that time, I had my own, God encounters.
Right.
And he said, go ask,
Mm.
is there anyone
Mm.
in the family that's experienced this?
Right.
And so in my asking,
Right.
my grandmother told me about two different instances
Mm-hmm.
where she had been SA'd,
Mm.
which led to the birth of two of my uncles.
Mm-hmm.
And then talking with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
she had been SA'd
Mm.
at gunpoint
Wow.
by two men.
Right.
So that was when I began to recognize that it was a pattern.
Right. You know what I like to call it, like a soul imprint. Like it becomes such a part of your DNA that, and oh God, I don't even know if I can get away with saying this, as if you attract it to you, as if you become vulnerable to this. And that's a tough statement, but you can't say you believe in the law of attraction only when it's for positive things and not when it's for negative. And so again, I would want to say to anyone, not just, now we've been talking about abuse in all forms, but even on your career, if you find it hard to move forward in career and you know you're doing the best you can, go check some cycles. Go ask some questions. Maybe every time it's easy for you to attract money to you, but then when you get it, it always falls through your hands. Go ask some questions. Follow the pattern. Let's read some comments real quick. Thomas says, abuse is definitely generational. I found out in my 20s that my mother also is a victim of SA by a family member. Wow. He also says, I was so young when I was molested. I did not know what happened to me until later. But by that time, when I told my parents, there was nothing they could do. Wow. Falana says, because that's how perpetrators are able to continue their deeds. Yeah, when you do not communicate and follow the pattern, you empower the perpetrator,
Yeah.
especially when the perpetrator is a part of the pattern. Because, and that's something that we talked about in the interview, Shantae, and I want to touch this real quick, that, and as a matter of fact, I put an advert on it about the parents being groomed, because a lot of this didn't happen in mama's and daddy's hands. A lot of this happened when mom and daddy dropped the kids off at Uncle Charlie's house to play with the cousins. And if cousins stay quiet, then Uncle Charlie can keep on going, and then 9 times out of 10, now cousins are groomed, now they're doing it, and it goes on and on and on. And I'm gonna say this, and I'll let you talk. One of the things that I realize is that a lot of times it's hard for people to speak out when there's a cycle of abuse in family, because not only do they have to say, I'm a victim, but they also have to say, well, you know, I did it too. You know, when cousin so-and-so came over. Can you just talk about that?
So yeah, I mean, I talk about my early experiences and that early sexual debut and being with the family members or having these games that children play that's supposed to be hide and seek. That turns into touch and molest.
Yes.
Now, in the education realm, we have something called sight and sound supervision. And so a lot of times I tell parents, you want to make sure you're practicing sight and sound supervision with your children. Do you have your eyes on them? Are they close enough for you to hear them? Can you tell when something is wrong? And then one of the things that we talked about a little bit is the power of images and imagery.
Correct.
When I was younger, I had seen the original The Color Purple. And that was one of the things that made me aware that certain things that I saw was not right. So for all of the flack that movie gets, it helped me to open my eyes as a child to know what CSA was. If it was not for Mr., I wouldn't have known a Mr. was in my house.
Which I must say also goes back to communication, because as a child, you shouldn't have needed The Color Purple to educate you on child sexual abuse, CSA. So that is, and let me say this too. I think that, oh God, I had a thought, and I was waiting for you to finish. And I normally write it down, but I got my iPad up here today. That's fine. Let's play. I'm gonna run a commercial real quick. If you're just coming on, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and if you're enjoying this, comment. Do me a favor. If you are watching this, click that like button and let us give us a comment and let us know you're here. What's going on right now is Shantae and I had an interview where she goes into detail about her experience with sexual abuse, okay? And then after she goes into detail, we talk about how she was led divinely to follow the pattern and track the pattern. And then after that, we talk about how to break the cycle, how to address the issues. And all of that we talked about is premiering tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this YouTube channel. At 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this YouTube channel. We're gonna run a quick 60-second commercial, and then we're gonna talk about child autonomy. We'll be right back. I would love for you to join our email community. In the description box of this video is a link. You click it, put your name and email address in the information, press submit, and you are going to be a part of our email community. But guess what? You gotta check your spam box because there's a double opt-in. So you gotta confirm that you truly meant to sign up. Would you like to be notified every time we go live? There's a simple way to do that. Join our free text club. All you gotta do is text V Terrell Hill to this number, 833-458-3658. You just text it. Text V Terrell Hill to 833-458-3658. 458-3658. All right, this is the last announcement, and then we're going back to the content. I am gifted to help people become their best self, and I want to offer you a free consultation. There has never been one person that has had a free consultation with me that did not leave better than when they came, all right? All of that information I just went over is in the description box connected to this video. All right, let's get back to the content. Welcome back to episode 6 of the abuse series, Breaking the Cycles. I have my good friend, Shuantae Charles, with me, the mental abolitionist. And we're really chatting about the full interview that I had with her last week. Was that last week, Shantae? Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week. I had a full interview with her last week where she breaks down her experience with abuse. She then talks about how God led her to track the pattern and then how to break the cycles. Let's read some comments real quick, and then we're gonna keep on going. Kashai says, this dialogue is so powerful, and it is super needed. Jennifer says, wow. Hey, Kashai and Jennifer, how y'all doing? Falana says, my grandmother made sure that I knew you don't sit on people's laps. As a matter of fact, Shantae, before we even move further, there was an example you gave about your stepfather would ask you and another family member to do something that seemed innocent, but it was really grooming you guys and breaking you guys down. Talk about that.
So yeah, one of the things that he would do is he would undress down to his boxers, and he would ask us to rub his back, sometimes lotion his back, oil his back, and we got into the pattern of touching him.
Wow.
That in itself is grooming.
Wow.
So I may not be asking you, to do something sexual, but I'm getting you used to touching me.
Yeah.
With most of my clothes off.
Wow.
That's grooming. That's an example.
That's a perfect example of grooming. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but it leads me to your stepfather was an occultist and a satanic worshiper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so something happened in those woods. Now, did that family member ever tell you what happened in the woods?
It's interesting that you say that, because, and I feel comfortable saying what he was a part of.
Okay.
He was a 33 and third Mason.
Oh.
But his spiritual practice was Satanism.
Gotcha.
He was an open Satanist.
Wow.
Most people in our community knew that he was.
Right.
And so I have tried to find out what happened in those woods. And the last person that I asked, they said they couldn't tell me, but they would look into it. And a week later, they were unalive. So I still haven't found out.
Now, hold on. Now, let me say this. I have a tick of smiling that is it's a real tick. So I don't want you guys to take my smile as irreverent or disrespectful. But hold on a second. Hold on. First of all, you can't just throw that on us like that, okay?
I've been trying to find out.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's talk real quick because and the reason I'm going here is because I had that same response. You said something. All of this is in the interview that we're discussing, that we're premiering tomorrow, Breaking the Cycles. I asked you about sexuality and spirituality and why there is so much deviant sexuality inside of spiritual spaces. And you said about the practice of Satanism and this transfer. Just hit that a little bit.
So in the occult realm, the younger and more innocent a child is, the more power you attain in their world by defiling a child.
All right, just give us a moment. and I, when you said that, and I said in the interview, because we live in two different spaces, or we had two different experiences, it made sense to me from my experience in my space coming up why preachers would attract to a certain kind of person. They were after that energy or that purity. Now, I don't believe most preachers understood it, what was happening. They did it, they felt something, they want to do it again. But I am starting to believe after, you said that, me and the producer had this elongated conversation where I believe that there are a lot of non-Satanists that understand the power of siphoning energy through sexual act and do it. And I was shocked or speechless when you said that during the interview, which airs tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm just as speechless now because there is after this, I got one more episode to do of the abuse series, and then we're doing a whole series on spirituality and sexuality because there is something off. And it's leading a lot of people, adults and children, to the hands of dangerous people. And that's why we got to break the cycle. Anything to say on that? Anything else to say on that?
Yeah, I don't know if your audience is ready for it.
Go ahead. Hey, go ahead. Hey, listen.
One thing about child development, I'll say this. The first 7 years of a child's life is the formation of who they are, their personality.
Absolutely.
And so if you can interrupt that formation, you're interrupting them into their adulthood.
Yes.
So when you think about pedophiles, right, they're interrupting that integral root of that person's formation.
You alter their entire life.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I want to say when you talk about sexuality and power, everybody has heard the word seminary, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, it comes from the word seminary. And originally, one of the ways that men felt that was the highest transference of power was through male-to-male contact. Which is why originally women were not a part of seminaries. Because it was a transfer of power from man to man. Which is why that particular act is also used in the occult realm to transfer power.
Now, I'm going to say something. I wish we were in the safe space, which is my private community, because I want to say it so bad. I'm just going to say it.
Oh, Lord.
Y'all forgive me in advance. It's so funny you would say that because as the producer and I have been really in an in-depth conversation about this upcoming series, I was talking about the different positions that a homosexual men are in to have sex. You have the top and the bottom. And I was saying that from a conscious perspective, because I do everything consciously, and being someone who have experienced both, there is this feeling that I get that I don't like from hear me out, from a spiritual perspective that I have to pray over when I notice it happen, like I was losing something. I said, well, what's going on here? And it stands some investigation based on what you said, but you have to remember I'm a sensitively spiritual person. So then it caused me to have to do a different kind of praying because it didn't feel like that shallow kind of, sleep with somebody. It felt like like I told them, I said, I don't like to, whatever that is, I don't like to lose that. But it felt like my power was being siphoned from me, is what I'm saying. So I know what you're saying is true. Whether y'all
Yeah,
be,
this is something I've studied.
yeah, you studied, I lived it, but go ahead.
Touche. Um, and so if you start studying the practices
Uh-huh.
through antiquity,
Uh-huh.
you're going to run across that information.
Uh-huh.
Anything I'm saying
Yeah.
is researchable. It's not hidden knowledge.
Yeah. Google. Let's get some
Um,
comments.
Go
Let's
ahead.
get some comments real quick. Thomas asks, "Is Shantae a step further in jail?" You know what? You know what? No, don't answer. Don't answer. Watch the show tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gotcha. Watch the show tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because she talks about what happened. All right. Next comment. In the case of Christianity, the deviance is connected to repression. The predators are drunk with power. They are repressed and have no other power other than ruling those with less power than them. What do you think about that, Shantae?
The deviance is connected to repression.
Repression. Uh-huh. The predators.
I mean, I think that could certainly be a part of it.
Yeah.
If people are repressing their sexuality, partly because they don't know themselves,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that could be a part of it.
Absolutely. I think that before we added this layer of knowledge that we discussed last week and what we're discussing now, I 100% would say repression was the darkness that fueled deviance in the Pentecostal and Christian churches. But now I don't think that repression is not, but there's more layers to it. But I think for some, but not just anywhere, a lot of transgendered individuals, they're murdered after the DL person has sex with them. And it's that repression, they have sex, and then they kill them. This kind of strange guilt for doing it. And so I think where there is repression, there is depression. Where there is repression, there is possession. And where there is repression, there is aggression. So I could see where that's happening, but all of the above. Let's see what Thomas is saying. I found out early on that I can't have sex with everyone. Sex is definitely a spiritual act. I have experienced that transfer of power, and I've experienced it, and it felt like my energy was being drained. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a very spiritually sensitive, I am an empath. Absolutely, and that's what I'm talking about. Like I think that I am not I'm not a dictator of anybody's sexual life, Shantae, but I do believe that before you go doing any and everything, you need to know who you are as a person so that you don't harm yourself while you're investigating and educating through life. And I agree, Donald Devereaux, it's self-hate. Woo! Good Lord of mercy. All right.
Yes, sex is definitely not just physical.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people teach that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It's a mingling of your physical,
mm-hmm.
part of your genetics,
Correct.
and a mingling of your soul with
Yeah.
others.
I mean, but think about this. When I did my ancestry DNA, they didn't take my blood. I just spit in the cup, and they took my spit and was able to tell me everything about myself. And so when you're kissing, you're exchanging DNA. You're exchanging your identifier. I mean, if that ain't plain, I don't know what is.
No.
that's plain. I cannot wait. When I tell you, I cannot wait to start this spirituality and sexuality series. If you're just coming on, it's actually just getting warmed up. We're 54 minutes in. It's about to be on. But if you're just coming on, welcome to Safe Space with Victor Hill. And today we're talking about a show that's premiering tomorrow, an episode of the Abuse series that's premiering tomorrow, Breaking the Cycle, where I interviewed Shuantae Charles, the mental abolitionist. And we talk about her experience with sexual assault, how she followed the pattern in her bloodline, and then how to be free. Now, before we go, Shantae has some books and some resources that she's going to share with us that I believe will help those who need to be educated or who need to be set free. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run a quick 60-second commercial. It's quick, 60-second commercial. And then right after that, we're going to play clip 3. We'll talk about that, and then we'll discuss more. I would love for you to join our email community. In the description box of this video is a link. You click it, put your name and email address in the information, press submit, and you are going to be a part of our email community. But guess what? You got to check your spam box because there's a double opt-in. So you got to confirm that you truly meant to sign up. Would you like to be notified every time we go live? There's a simple way to do that. Join our free text club. All you got to do is text V Terrell Hill to this number, 833-458-3658. You just text it. Text V Terrell Hill to 833-458-3658. All right, this is the last announcement, and then we're going back to the content. I am gifted to help people become their best self, and I want to offer you a free consultation. There has never been one person that has had a free consultation with me that did not leave better than when they came, all right? All of that information I just went over is in the description box connected to this video. All right, let's get back to the content.
And one thing that the Spirit said to me, he said, children should learn from your skeletons and not have to bury them.
If this was a mic, it just got dropped. Talk about that.
Well, one of the things that I learned in all of this was being able to talk to my elders, being able to talk to my mother, them talking about what happened to them, but also talking about their mistakes. Because I feel like once we began to talk about it, it felt like they felt freer to be more transparent about the mistakes they had made with men, with life, with relationships. So at one point, I got both of my grandmothers and my mother. This was after I got engaged. And I sat them down and I said, tell me what you know about men, about marriage.
Wow.
What makes these things work? And I recorded their conversation.
Wow.
Of course, this is way back.
Yeah.
So I keep a tape player.
Wow.
And I have that tape. And I replay their advice. And that advice has kept me. I'm about to be married for 24 years this year.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, sit your elders down, get their stories, because as one proverb says, when an elder dies, a library burns down.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
So I have that treasure of information because both of my grandmothers are gone now.
Right, right,
But I can go back and listen to their wisdom
right.
that's still working for my life today.
To this moment. I love that. 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 Hold on. Just give me a moment. Because I love that. I think that in the series, and I mentioned this earlier in the interview about the show about going home, and I wish that the Christian space was not so anti the word ancestors, because they're locking themselves out of so much information.
But how can you be anti-ancestor when it says a cloud of witnesses?
Yes, yes. Where lineage is spoke through the Bible from front to back. The God of this, the son of this, the da da of this. Because lineage mattered so much that God had to create a son, send him down here, die on the cross because of lineage. All right, hold on.
But here's the wording. He said through 42 what?
What generation? I don't know. Shantae.
Generations.
Right.
So how are you going to deny lineage?
Correct.
Jesus being, if you're a Christian, Jesus being the ultimate ancestor. Who does what? ever live to make
Yes.
intercession
Yes.
for us. That's not witchcraft. That's the word. So if my ancestor Christ
Mm.
is making intercession for me,
Mm-hmm.
that means he's alive and praying for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't I think
Mm-hmm.
that the cloud of witnesses that come from my lineage
Come on.
aren't also rooting me on?
Come on. Come. I'm screaming. You can't hear me, but I'm screaming right now. Come on. Oh, I've been meaning to say this. Y'all, there is an echo on Shantae's mic, but just enjoy the conversation. And I didn't know that because you sound clear on my end. So I don't know how it's echoing, to be honest with you, but that's all right. We'll be okay. Don't you worry about it at all. Because the people was texting me. Whew. I uh, this ain't the show for that, but we need a whole show where we can just talk about that. This is not the show for that. But I tell you what, the best example I can give is I was estranged from my parents. I've said this, give this story 1,000 times. When I reconnected back to them, I was watching my dad clean the kitchen, and he was just meticulous. Just clean, 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 clean. Putting the dish in the dishwasher, organized. There's a way that he likes the microwave to be clean. Now, I left home at 17, right? Then the estrangement happened around 23 or so. So then I didn't come back to 36. So I didn't know what my father did. All I know was I would get an attitude if I open up that dishwasher and the cups are not lined up right. And I do not like stains in my microwave. And me, there's a certain way the sink got to be clean. And when I saw my dad doing it, I said, huh? I'll give you another one. I go to the ice cream shop Kilwin's at least once every 2 weeks and get butter pecan and pistachio ice cream, which is a weird combination. And the lady knows me. We talk about it. I get the same thing all the time. I sit and eat it. It's my little me time. Talking to my mom about it, she says, well, that's interesting because, what is it? One of my mom's favorite ice cream is pistachio, and my dad's favorite ice cream is butter pecan.
Wow.
That's in me.
Mm-hmm.
And if those small examples are real, how much real is your temperament? How much real is your character, your ability to handle pressure? There's a conversation you can have with your mom or dad that'll allow you to overcome your biggest monster. You just ain't had the conversation. So I'm done with that. All right, you want to follow up? Because I said a lot, and then we're going to move on, but I'm passionate about that, though.
When I said children should learn from your skeletons and not have to bury them, that's your good, that's your bad, that's your ugly.
Amen. Absolutely.
And one thing I can say about my mom, she's dealing with her mental health issues now,
Wow. Wow.
but she was always straightforward with us. There was a time when my mom sat me down and she said, look, I didn't want children,
Wow.
but you all are here and I'm going to raise you the best way that I can. And so, again, I don't fault my mom because she was dealing with her own traumas and trying to work through that and raise 3 children by herself.
Right, right, right.
So what I will say tonight is give your parents some grace.
Absolutely.
Understand that they are human beings too.
Right, right, right.
And understand that there are certain things they were doing based on the knowledge that they had.
They did the best they could with what they knew.
When we know better,
Correct.
we should do better.
Right, right.
Now, I am not talking about toxic parents
Correct.
who are just saying, oh, well, you deserved everything that happened to you.
Right, right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right, not the toxic ones, right. Yeah.
I'm talking about parents who can own where they were and share with you their truth and transparency. Because we often say we want to be friends in our older age and have that relationship with our parents.
Right.
but we also have to give space for them to be real with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny you would say that because when my parents and I, we reconnected, I had to say to myself, you got to give them the same grace you want them to give you. You got to give them the same understanding you want them to give you. I came back to my parents. When I left, I was a minister. When I left their home at 17, I was Minister Vincent Hill on Fire for God. When I came back at 36, I had evolved from the Christian church and came out of the closet. And so, like, I knew I was coming back with way more than what I left with. And so what I said to myself is, if I can't demand, accept me for what I am, or I'm leaving again, if I can't accept them for who they are. And that is a part of breaking the cycle too. Breaking the cycle don't mean kumbaya. Breaking the cycle also means sitting back, observing, inventorying, understanding, making a conclusion, and healing. You might not ever come to an agreement, but at least you had the conversation. So I don't even want to paint this picture as if it's you might have a kumbaya moment or something like that. You might not ever agree, but you can address it, you can communicate it. How do they receive you? They received me with open arms. I lucked out, Donald. I understand that, especially my parents, the oldest one is 69 years old. They're Pentecostal Church of God in Christ pastors. And they received me with open arms. Now, there were some times we had to have conversations and we had to work through some things. But I think by the time I came back around, it was like I would rather have a son in my life than not have one because of some thing that don't nobody ain't gonna care about in 20 years, So yeah, that I lucked out. Let me play this quick. I'm Kojic, I get it. Yeah, Donald, it's a thing. Let me. Now hold on, Shantae. Not that we're gonna make this a thing, but you were Kojic too, wasn't it?
I was a Kojic licensed evangelist
Oh yeah,
for
so you was
12
Kojic.
years.
Wowzers. All right, let me put this up real quick. Pathology, the study of that which causes dis-ease. Many family members are not at ease with each other because they do not understand the history and story that caused the problem they are living through. I want to read that last part again, because they do not understand the history and the story that caused the problem they are living through. What do you got to say about that, Shantae?
Oh, I have a lot to say.
Uh-huh.
So we began to talk about this thing about calling everything a generational curse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I talked about was, how do people define curse?
Mm-hmm.
To me, a curse is to repeatedly miss the mark.
Mm.
So when you're going back into your family history, you're really asking the question, how are we missing the mark?
That's good.
How are we missing the mark?
Yeah.
And in my family, missing the mark had to do with ignorance or not knowing
Right.
around sexuality.
Right. How are we missing the mark? Because you know what? And the reason why I like that is because the average person, especially if you come from a Christian space, will say something like, well, I ain't got no curses in my family. I broke those with the blood of Jesus. But when you bring it all the way down to how am I missing the mark, you got families of obese people, just generation and generation of obesity. Now, can cook to times get better, but pressure is high as the heavens. You got, hold on. Sorry, forgive me. Or you got generations of poverty where good sound people, but never could come out of the trap or never could come out of the projects or ghetto. And so if you look at it like that, it's going to be hard to pray that away because it's right in your face. Or every single aunt or uncle is divorced. Nobody can keep a marriage. These are everyday stuff. And it don't mean aunt and uncle not saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. It don't mean that they're not upright citizens that pay taxes and do good in the world. But there's a mark that is continually being missed in the bloodline.
And here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
When people hear curse, they divorce themselves from the power of accountability.
Correct. Absolutely.
But if I know that it's a generational pattern,
yes,
I can solve a pattern.
yes, that's right.
It puts the power back into my hands.
Correct.
And so we got to stop labeling everything a curse.
Yes.
And say, this is a generational pattern. We're missing the mark.
Yes.
How do we solve this? So whether it's poor financial decisions, right? We have some people that are in their generation buying homes, and they're the first in their generation to do it.
Right.
That means they broke a pattern.
Correct.
Because they learned something different.
Yes.
And they did something different.
I love it. Breaking a pattern is simply, now there's more work to it. So in a simple term, doing something different. What's interesting though is it's challenging because of the prophecy. I'll call it the first 7-year prophecy. You're talking that full maturation of personality, 7 years. The 7-year prophecy that says what you come out of and what you're placed in and around is your prophecy. So this person has to undo what was done in them by DNA first, and then by cultural training and grooming second. Good God Almighty. That is some serious self-work one has to do something outside of the pattern.
Yeah.
All right, let's read some comments real quick. Well, first of all, before I do that, I haven't done the business of the business. If you're watching this, we're having a conversation about a conversation. And what conversation are we having? I interviewed Shuantae Charles last week about breaking the cycles or breaking the pattern of abuse in your life. That interview is going to premiere on this channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. But what we did today was come on live and talk about what we talked about, all right? So subscribe and click the bell to be notified, or in the video description box connected to this video is a number that you can text V. Terrell Hill to be notified every time I post something. As well, in the comments, I just put my Linktree link in the comments. If you want to join my email community, you can go there. If you want to sow into Safe Space, you can go there. If you want to join the private community, where we'll be going speaking of, I have, now Shantae, you might feel uncomfortable with this because I don't know your beliefs. Sorry in advance. I have my tarot card reader who I go to periodically. She was actually raised, Shantae, in the Pentecostal church and then evolved from it. But she was an intercessor and prophet. And then when she left the church, she kept her gift. And that's really why I trust her, because her gift feels familiar. It don't feel off, right? I'm bringing her on Thursday to the private community. Those of you all that are in Safe Space or will join between now and Thursday, she is going to offer a $30 discount for your first reading with her, okay? But she's going to be on Thursday, so you guys want to meet me in the private community. You want to get in there, a 7-day free trial offer. Click that link that is in the video, in the comments that I just posted and in the video description box. All right? Good God Almighty.
You said you were going to get to some comment.
Thank you, because I could. All right, Thomas says, I wished my parents were more open and transparent when it came to having those hard conversations. I was raised to listen and obey. Today, my mother's open now to having those hard conversations. Yeah, I think that is one of those things, Thomas, saying with my parents, I don't think they would have been as accepting to me in my earlier age as they were in my older age. Communication is so important to have with your kids. Oh, absolutely it is. Learning your family patterns, that is so powerful. I, it will be impossible to lose if you understand the pattern. Why? The pattern has the data on what it takes for your bloodline to lose, what it takes from your bloodline to prevent from losing, and what it takes from your bloodline to win, and what it takes for you to keep the win. Huh.
Let me give you an example of that.
Please.
So part of my heritage is Indigenous American, Cherokee. In Cherokee culture, two things. Suicide is at the top, and alcoholism is at the top.
Wow.
So because I know those two things, I know it's super important to stay on top of my mental health.
Yes.
And I no longer drink alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
Again,
Yes, ma'am.
it's about patterns.
That's it. Same for me. My family, my dad's side of the family they're passive good people. They're just super passive. They're calm. The problem is there's a certain kind of shock wave. If you want to make that, you can't be the passive person. You got to be loud and rambunctious. But on the other side, my mom's side, very emotional, bitter, mean. And so I know that I got to find the balance between the nice, passive guy in me and that part of me that will cuss you slam out. Look, as funny as it sounds, the truth, so that up out of me comes this whole person that can. Now, the thing about it is, what I have done is use the rambunctiousness from my mother and the purity of my father and mixed it together to become me, that wise serpent that's harmless as a dove. But before...
So I think what you're talking more about is harmony.
Yes.
I think people say balance.
Yes.
But what they're looking for is harmony.
Yes, because I got some alto antenna in that, and it harmonizes perfectly. Yes, yes. Because and the thing about it is, you cannot create that what I would call DNA harmony without turning around, looking at it, and accepting it. Because here's what I believe, Shantae. I believe that if you look at your family, like, my family, we just so, I can't stand my family, I can't stand my family, I can't stand my family. You are literally saying, I can't stand me, I can't stand me,
right.
I can't stand me, because you are your family. So I had to look at who my father was and love and appreciate that in me. And look at who my mother was and love and appreciate that in me. And then create a harmony.
Yes. It's the blending together.
Yes.
Of the sum of your parts.
Yes. Yes.
Because the reality is, most of us aren't going to find balance, but we can find harmony.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Find the harmony in the chaos. Find the harmony in the misfortune, and you will get a fortune. You will create or attract a fortune. I believe, you know what? Let me slow down, because I feel that thing. We're an hour and 18 minutes in, and every 10 minutes I get more turned on and on and on. We're gonna be so. I'm gonna be opening up the lines. I'm gonna run a commercial. I'm gonna put a link for you to come on if you want to talk to Shantae and I. I'll be opening up the lines. At the same time, I need to say this real quick because I might have said this wrong. So let me say this real quick. The safe space discount is, Thomas, that it's $30 off, not $30 only, okay? I just want to make sure I said that right. So the safe space, but it's still nominal money because a 30-minute session ain't that much money. So, no, I'm talking to the producer. No, it's $30. It's not 30%. It's $30. I feel 99% sure. If it's not, come to Safe Space. You'll find out Thursday. All right. Let me put the link. I'm gonna put the link in the comments. As you got, if you're accustomed to these live shows, anybody can come on ask a question to Shantae or myself, leave a comment. We'll be up here. I'm not going to be hanging around long, so you already know if you're coming or not. I'll be right back with this quick 60-second commercial. I would love for you to join our email community. In the description box of this video is a link. You click it, put your name and email address in the information, press submit, and you are going to be a part of our email community. But guess what? You got to check your spam box because there's a double opt-in. So you got to confirm that you truly meant to sign up. Would you like to be notified every time we go live? There's a simple way to do that. Join our free text club. All you got to do is text V Terrell Hill to this number, 833-458-3658. You just text it. Text V Terrell Hill to 833-458-3658. All right, this is the last announcement, and then we're going back to the content. I am gifted to help people become their best self, and I want to offer you a free consultation. There has never been one person that has had a free consultation with me that did not leave better than when they came, all right? All of that information I just went over is in the description box connected to this video. All right, let's get back to the content. Welcome to the preview of episode 6, which will be premiering tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Breaking the Cycle. And I've been on with my good friend, I'll say colleague, Shuantae Charles, as we've been pontificating on breaking the pattern, looking for the pattern and breaking the cycles. She definitely is a mental abolitionist. She is educated. She is refined and reformed to this person that you see right here from a deep, dark place. And if she can do it and I can do it, you can too. The difference between us and anyone who feels like they can't make it any further is we kept walking and talking. Let me tell you this. I'm going to say this because it's a demon I want to come after. Open your mouth and talk.
Tell your story.
I'm trying to tell you. I was my personality to be quiet. I understand. But there is a time that you have to talk. If not, but to yourself. I was on FaceTime with a friend this week, Shantae. And the link is in the comments. By the time I finish this story and she responds, if y'all don't click it, we're done. I was on a FaceTime with a friend this weekend. Oh, thank you. All right. I was on FaceTime with a friend this week, and we were talking about something that was very personal, and they felt uncomfortable saying it. And they did what I thought was the most irritating but neat, cool, but very irritating thing. They muted the mic and said it out loud and then unmuted it. And I was irritated because I wanted to hear the response, but at the same time, I was like, that's good because we need to talk. We need to be able to, so even if you're like, listen, I'm about to say something, you ain't gonna hear it, but no, I'm saying it, or support that person because sooner or later they'll get to a point where they can verbalize it. Then they'll be getting to a point where they're helping others and so on and so forth. So I open your mouth. All right, y'all, Shantae just bought y'all some more time because, Thomas just came on. Let's pull Thomas on. Let me think. Let's do resources for. Let's do resources first.
I was going to say, let's do resources because we don't know where this is about to go.
Yeah. Thomas, don't go nowhere. Hold on. We're coming to you, okay? All right.
Hold on, Thomas.
Yeah. Go ahead. Share some resources. Share some resources with us, Shantae.
So the first resource is going to tie into what you just said today. And that is to affirm to yourself. And I want you to repeat these things. My generations will not bow down.
My generations will not
to serve any soul-crushing entity. My truth makes my generation free.
I love that. Soul-crushing entities. I love that. Yeah, I love that.
So I want to offer you and show you some resources. Sometimes people say, I'm not ready for therapy. These are all pre-therapy resources, in-therapy resources, and post-therapy resources.
Okay.
Research-based, written by psychologists and therapists.
Love.
Drama-free. This is about dealing with unhealthy family relationships. setting boundaries and finding peace.
Mm.
If you have struggled with setting boundaries, you want this book. Rest is resistance.
Mm.
This is all about breaking free from overwork, which often comes out of trauma.
We need to get that one. Talk to.
Black fatigue. This is dealing with how trauma from racism erodes your body.
Now, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Healing racial trauma is a continuation of that. Soul care, specifically for the African American. You want to retrain your brain from trauma because they found out that you can actually heal your brain. You want to get what happened to you. This is all about understanding how to rewire your brain from trauma.
I love.
Cleaning up your mental mess. Dr. Caroline Leaf. Homecoming by Dr. Thema Bryant.
Overcome fear and trauma to reclaim your whole authentic self. I know that's right.
Yes.
There's 3 of them I'm getting.
Trauma, healing your past to find freedom now.
Yes.
And for those of you who might be dealing with trauma and grief, bittersweet. How sorrow and longing make us whole.
I am going to have to. How hard would it be for you to put the links to those books inside of Safe Space?
I don't think it would be hard,
or
but I have created a little video that shows them.
Can you post that in Safe Space?
I can.
Please do. Now, what is Safe Space? It is my private community that you can join by clicking this link tree. Where is it at? Hold on. Where's my link tree? Oh, by clicking this link that I'm putting in the comments right quick. You get a 7-day free trial subscription. If you want the video to get those books, if you don't want to worry about the replay, go in there. As long as Shantae put the video up before 7 days, put it on 8 so you can get that credit card charge, Shantae. I'm just playing. Anyway, I'm just playing. All right, let's bring on Thomas real quick to have a conversation. All right, Mr. Thomas, you're on stage. Talk to us, man.
First of all, I just want to. What's that echo?
Is everything echoing?
I don't hear an echo from you, Thomas.
Yeah, I don't hear echo.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was very good and eye-opening.
Yeah.
Understanding your family. I am echoing.
Well, we don't hear the echo though.
Is it me?
Thomas, we don't hear the echo. Go ahead.
Okay. I can hear it.
I know, but go ahead because it's like you're having a problem that we're not having.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understanding your family is very important in breaking the cycle. I ran across this psychologist. Her name is Dr. Marielle Burke, and she wrote a book called Breaking the Cycle, and she's a guide to healing intergenerational trauma. And when you, Shantae, brought up the piece about allowing your ancestors to speak to you. Black people, particularly, you know what I'm saying, we have gone through trauma that has passed down from generation to generation, and if you don't have those conversations with your elders or your parents, you know what I'm saying, then you will pass down that trauma. Just like you said, it's in our DNA, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just encourage everyone, you know, to talk to your parents, talk to your elders, and when you have those, I'm saying that because when my mother, you know, told me her secret of essay, you know, I was just like, why didn't you tell me earlier? You know what I mean?
Right.
And she was like, you know, that's just not a conversation that's, you know, I thought she was, you know, ready to hear.
Right.
Um, but it kind of freed me, and to let me know that I'm not alone. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I realized that this is a family pattern. This is
Right.
trauma that has been passed down,
Right.
and I wish that my parents were more transparent as far as, you know, things that they have gone through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all I saw was the pastor and the first lady. You know what I'm saying? And
Thomas,
um, yes.
can you hold that thought?
Hmm.
Because I have to be obedient. Um, Before you came on, I heard the Spirit of God say that you were coming on.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we said, hold on, Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
it was really me saying, yes, please hold on because the Lord has something to share with you.
Oh boy.
And so before you go further,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say what the Lord is saying because I don't want it to interfere, if you understand what I mean, with what you're about to share.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Meaning, I don't want to hear your story and then tell you. I'd rather the Lord tell you and then you share your story.
It's my kind of.
Gotcha.
Falana says she can't understand Thomas because of the echo.
I think it should be good now. I made an adjustment over here and hit a tick, and I think it's good now. But go ahead because I want to hear what God's saying versus the echo. I don't hear the echo, so and since I count,
Okay.
go ahead.
So, Thomas, the word of the Lord was saying to me that He's releasing a measure of truth to you, that it's coming to you this year, unlike times past.
Mm.
Truths that you have been waiting to hear, you will hear this year. There's almost like a veil where it feels like sometimes you don't feel like people are being completely honest with you, but that veil is going to be torn and you're going to see people be completely honest with you this year. He said he's opening up real healing for you and the closing of wounds for you this year.
Gee.
He said there's an apology coming to you that will close a wound that has been open and gaping for years.
Mm.
So that's what I heard to share with you tonight.
Lord.
Okay, I received that. I
Woo.
received that.
You got one for me? How he get one? No, how he get one just coming on here to talk? I've been talking for an hour and 33 minutes. Ain't no prophecy.
Listen, I'm just that's what the Lord has shared with me for right now. I don't know if he's going to give me anything else, but he said Thomas,
Mm,
and then when he said he was coming on, I was like, okay.
I love that. Thomas, God got his mind on you to the point that before we went live, he was thinking about you. So you're gonna get the healing you need to move forward. And that's all right.
Amen.
That's all right. Oh my God. I love that. 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 Oh my God.
Thank you, Shantae. I needed to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, at
Thank
that
you,
point,
sweetie.
Thomas, do you need to say anything now or are you good?
No, um, um,
Mhm.
when we were talking about the family patterns,
Mhm.
and I was uh, sharing with you guys, that my mother, shared her secret,
Hmm.
and it was just eye opening, and then at the same time, I understand that it was the family pattern that was being passed down, and I wish that um, we actually a few months ago we had we was having a conversation, and for some reason that came up again, and and I was like, Mama, did you ever heal from that? And she said that she did therapy, um, because also my mother's biological mother was murdered when
Wow.
she was 6 years old, and so she said it was like the babysitter, and
The babysitter killed your mom's mom, your grandmother?
no, 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 the babysitter was the one that molested her.
Oh,
Um, um, because my grandfather was in the military, and he used to go on military duty assignments, and so it I don't want to tell my mom's business, but anyway, yeah, hearing stories like that, you know what I'm saying, it it kind of explains what I'm going through, you know what I'm saying, and how I can get out of it, you know what I'm saying.
mm,
Um, I wish my father was more transparent before he passed away.
mhm.
But I was talking to my aunt, his sister, um, and we were talking about my dad, and I was like, "Tell me how was Daddy growing up?" And she said that he was sensitive. When she said that word sensitive, I was just like a light bulb. Just like, what?
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
Sensitive like me?
Wow.
And because my dad was very he was an alpha male,
I don't remember your daddy being sensitive. Yeah.
no, he rarely cried. He rarely, said I love you. And um, you know, um, up to when before he passed away, he started, opening up more and saying I love you and stuff. Um, but when she said he was sensitive, I was just like, wow. I said, knowing this now, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now I see why he was so why we always bumped heads a lot, because I was very
Right.
as a child. I was a very sensitive child, and I cried. I was very emotional, and my dad was like, "Man up, toughen up." You know what I'm saying? Like, you, son, you're so dramatic. Just
Mm.
and and that I used to stutter too, and so yeah, it just yeah. So when she said that, I was just like, "Oh wow, okay, now I understand why
Right.
he was the way he was with me."
Does that help you accept yourself more?
Yes. That's why having those conversations with your kids is so important, because
Uh,
um, you're being formed and molded. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, um, and I do have a lot of questions.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I do have, that void that y'all was talking about. Um, and I am waiting patiently for those answers, because
Wow.
I do need
Cool.
I
Cool.
need
Cool.
healing.
Well, according to the word of the Lord, healing soon come, friend. Healing soon.
Amen.
Healing soon come.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Mr. Bristow. Thank you for thank you for supporting
I'm
says
also exposing myself.
but
I
you know
gotta stop doing that.
same, same. I'll get on here, tell all my business, and get off
Oh
of
my goodness.
did it again.
Here's what I have learned. I remember one time the Holy Spirit telling me to take my skeletons out of the closet and make them dance.
Mm, I love
Mm.
that.
because because when you take your skeletons out and make them dance, can't nobody else take your skeletons out.
Mm,
Right.
Can't nobody else profit off of your skeletons.
yes.
Can't nobody extort you
Come on.
Right.
for your truth
Come on.
Right.
because it's yours
Right.
because you own it.
I love. I love.
Yeah.
I love. I love. I love. Take your skeleton, but that's that harmony.
Hmm.
That's harmony. Because and I love you said that because the reality is I've been looking for balance for a long time. She ain't nowhere. I can't find her. But harmony, but harmony, oh, I can create that. And so
Hmm.
take your skeletons out the closet and dance. I love that. All right.
Make them dance.
Thank you so much, Thomas. I appreciate you. And let me say this. I love the blend between your Argyle and the back wall. That's a nice set. I've been serious
You
this
like
time.
my aga?
Yeah, and the back wall and then the green chair, that all of that. That's a nice frame. That's right. Oh, and the glasses too. So it's all blending in your skin because you're red too. All right, I'm done. So I love you, man. Love you, man.
Love you too.
All right, bye. So what's crazy, Shantae, is I finally figured out that audio issue an hour and some change after, you know, while you were right before you prophesied to Thomas, it hit my head. And I clicked one button and now it's all fixed.
Now it's all fixed.
It's all fixed and I'm over
Yeah,
it.
it's all fixed because I don't hear an echo anymore.
Yeah. What happened? So what got my attention was I said, now hold on. Shantae was saying echo and Thomas is saying echo. And I remember a setting that I had clicked because of some audio issues I had in our pre-interview. I said, I'm tired of this. Let me unclick it. But the unclick made it worse than it was before. So
Wow.
there's that. Nonetheless, though, those there are those who stayed on the whole time, which means outside of the echo, there is content, and I believe there is going to be people that will watch this replay. They might get irritated at the echo, but they're going to draw in. They're going to go look at listen to the interview that airs tomorrow at 5 p.m. and they're going to be blessed, and that's what matters. Thank you so much for being who you are. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for going while being underappreciated. Thank you for persevering when you could have just stopped and went in your own little corner and did what you do, but yet you still shine through the music, through the lives every day that you do. Um, you are so knowledgeable and so potent in your expression of that knowledge. And there are two people. I'll say this. I'm gonna keep on saying it until it happens. There are two people, you all that are watching this, and you all that will watch it, that I made a promise to. That when this platform blow up, I'm gonna make it my business to spread them across this platform like mayonnaise. That's Lakia Johnson, my tarot card reader, and that's Shantae Charles, because both of you guys have something to offer to the world. And so I'm gonna make it my business. It's on wax. I can't take it back. And I'm gonna say it and say it because this platform soon gonna grow. And when
Well, here's the interesting thing about that.
uh,
I've known her for decades now.
come on, Lakia,
Hmm.
you lying?
I'm not.
How you know Lakia?
Oh, we gotta have a whole session.
Okay, see, all right. If you're not busy at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, after I introduce her and we get going, I want to bring you on so we can all the three of us just talk.
This
Uh,
is so funny.
yo, that's crazy. That's
Hmm.
hold on, Thomas. Bring me back on, please. I have a question for Sean. All right, Thomas got a question for you.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Hi, Shantae.
Yes.
Um, um, Mental health therapy. Um, do, uh, do you have like resources to be connected with um, a therapist that specializes in trauma?
There are several therapists that specialize in trauma. Um, some open resources I would say would be Black female therapists. I believe if you go to their page, they have a whole directory of therapists that are available for all different reasons. And I definitely believe trauma is on there.
Mm.
Where is this
Yeah.
website?
It's on
This is on
Facebook.
Facebook.
I thought so. Yeah.
hmm But
What is it called?
I think they're on Facebook, IG, Black Female Therapists.
A therapist.
Black female therapist. Okay.
hmm
Also, to add to that, I just interviewed a therapist Monday about spiritual abuse. Hopefully, the last episode on spiritual abuse, and she's working on, just like Lakia with her discount, she's working on giving safe spacers discounts if you go with her. So keep on go to all that, but just know that I'm working behind the scenes where if you are a member of the private community safe space, you can get a therapist, especially for those of us like us, Thomas, who she specializes in spiritual abuse as well. So she has that kind of thing for those of us that had that church hurt and all that kind of carrying on. But of
Mhm.
course, go to Black female therapists. But as well, just know I'm working on getting you guys discounts if you're a part of the safe space.
Shantae, are you a therapist?
Oh, give your disclaimer, Shantae. That's right. Give your disclaimer.
So I am not a therapist. I am a educator, and I'm a spiritual coach, and I am certified in therapeutic practices because I'm a multidisciplinary artist. So I am certified in therapeutic practice. I am youth mental health services certified, but I am not a licensed therapist.
Mhm.
You sound like a therapist to me.
She's knowledgeable. Falana says that she thinks they're on Clubhouse as well. Black female therapist. But yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
for
I'm 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 gonna check that out.
you safe spacers that are listening um, and that are watching the replay, just know every time I meet somebody, I'm getting y'all discounts. So I already got tarot card reading. Now I'm working on therapy and everything else because we're gonna make it profitable for everybody. But look those up, Thomas, and if you find them beneficial, put the link inside a safe space so others can see as
I
well.
got it.
Yeah.
There are
Gotcha.
a few other sites I can't think of. I don't want to give you the wrong name of them, but I will try to drop these in once we're done. I will drop them in the comments on YouTube,
Mhm.
the other mental health sites, because there are a few
Mhm.
that are directories that can offer services.
I love.
Can I say
And
this finding a good therapist, you know what I'm saying, a therapist that you trust, is very difficult.
hmm
Um, I know that I need therapy, um, but it's very expensive. You
hmm
know, the real help. You know what I'm saying? The real therapists that have, um,
and that's one of the reasons why I gave the list of physical resources,
Mhm.
because even some therapists will tell you that the way that they practice doesn't work for everybody,
Mhm.
which is why a lot of them write now so that you can start priming yourself for therapy sessions.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll say this as someone who's been in therapy since 2016. I think therapy should not be the first result. I don't think therapy is the first resolve. Therapy, I believe, no, hold on. I'm not discouraging anybody from starting therapy, but I'm just saying that if you want the most out of therapy, I think you have to have some kind of grounding and understanding of what's going on. Or the first
hmm
sessions is going to be just this, because therapists are not there to give you answers. Therapists are
hmm
there to lead you down your own path. So if you're
Right.
someone who don't even want to go down your own path, you're just looking
hmm
to feel better, you're not a prime person for therapy anyway. I'll say this, and this is not a rebuttal to you, Thomas, but it's just I don't understand it because I've had four different therapists in my history, and two of them were the best. The other two is just it didn't work out because of timing and everything else. And so I'm wondering, is it that people are approaching therapists like a doctor where you go in surgery, they open you up and pull out the cancer? And if people are looking for that, that's why they're thinking that that therapy is not working for them, because a therapist is nothing but a mirror.
Yes.
You do all the work. You do all the
Mhm.
talking, you ask all the questions, and you answer all the questions. And
Mhm.
if you're not in a place to talk now, don't think you're going to get into a therapist to be like, rope. That's not how that works. So, and I'm not saying that's you. I'm going to be clear. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's Thomas. I'm just
No, it's
adding.
not. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I'm adding to
I've
the.
had good therapists, and
Y'all always
uh,
be cutting me off, and that get on my nerves. I'm telling somebody today, y'all got to cut that spirit off, cutting me off. No.
that take over spirit. I'm sorry. You sit down somewhere
One thing I will say,
There you
Thomas,
go. I
is
was not done with my thought yet.
oh, I am so sorry. I thought you were done.
Now I'm done now because y'all done interrupted me. Go ahead.
What I was just gonna say, one thing I will say is that's why I do spiritual coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and I make it very clear that I am trauma informed, I am trauma trained.
Mm-hmm.
I am certified in therapeutic practices, but I am not a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So people usually come see me first
Yeah.
before they go to a therapist,
Yeah.
because I'm helping to sort of lay groundwork to help you to actually start looking within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get to therapy, as he said, you're doing all the work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're
there.
not used to that, you're going to want to throw something at the therapist and say, you're supposed to solve my problems. And therapists don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That's good. That's good. So can you put the link tree link, your link tree link in the comments, Shantae?
I
Um,
don't think I can. It says I have to log into my YouTube to do it.
okay, that's no
And
worries. What's your link? I'm gonna type it for you. What's your link tree link?
it is link, that little funky link dot
Uh-huh.
tree dot com /Shantae Charles.
Link.tree, TREE, right?
linktr.ee
Okay, hold on.
for
linktr.ee /Shantae.
Shantae Charles. SHANTAE
Right.
Charles.
And before I put this in here, let me try it real quick. Y'all bear with me because I want to make sure I get you the right link. I'm gonna try it out real quick. Bam, that's the right one. All right, good. So I'm about to put all of Shantae's contact information in the comments. Um,
And my course that I have taken people through that have been successful,
mm,
they've gone on with their lives, they're breaking cycles, they're getting married, they're dealing with their childhood abuses.
Hmm.
Like that course is on that link tree, and it's called Soul Freedom.
I love that. I
So
love
it is a self-guided course
it.
where I'm doing the teaching, and it's 33 days long. So if you want to start that course and say, "Hey, I'm ready to do my mirror work. I'm ready to do my shadow work. I'm ready to do my inner work on myself," then that course is a good place to start.
Mm, love that.
Okay.
Love. Um, you need to is that guided, or is already they just if they do it and on it's
It
like
is
self-learning.
it is self-guided, but I am teaching. It's all teaching videos,
I love
and then
that.
they can respond, and I'll respond to them when I get their messages.
I love that.
So
How
they're
much
still getting opportunity to speak with me.
are you comfortable with sharing how much it costs, or you want them to do all the work to go through it themselves?
It's $99.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. And see, the thing is, my thing is, you might not. Well, I have two things about therapy and money. Number one, you might not be able to afford therapy now, but you can give $99 and go through a 33-day thing. And the thing is, there are people like, and I'm sure Shantae might be one of them. It's one thing if you reach out to her with a whole bunch of questions and you've paid the money and went through the courses
Mhm.
versus just like pulling on someone like Shantae and her thoughts, and you ain't even paid the courses. So I say, spend the $99. Go to click her link tree link. I just put in the comments, spend the $99 and then reach out to her. You might get a whole session for free or something like that. I'm just throwing you out there, Shantae. But and the second thing I'll say is this. I have been living, this is my full-time employment. At one time I was paying $700 a month for therapy, 180 a week. Yeah, that's 700. And then I'm doing every other week, $360 a month. Um, I don't care if my lights are about to get cut off. I'm going to find that $180 to pay that lady. I guarantee you that you guys, you two that are on this screen right now, bring in more money a month than I do, just hands down. But you think that I'm not paying my therapist? Every 2 weeks. So I said that to say, for some of you who say you can't afford therapy, really what you're saying is it's not as important enough for you yet. Because what I know is that the things that really matter to me, it attracts to me. The money to pay for it. And because I value it, I'll never forget one time. Let me tell you, I'll tell this story, how therapy is so important. The therapist, first of all, I didn't have the money. I don't like using my credit cards. I don't touch my credit cards. Time's got to be bad to touch my credit cards. So I didn't really have the money to pay the therapist this time. I said, I'm gonna just cancel. I said, what are you doing? Boy, you lost your mind. Take that credit card to that studio, get in front of that computer, get this lady's numbers, and let's go. During that session, Shantae and Thomas, she said to me, you need to do another session next week, because there's a lot coming up for me. And she knew that it was gonna be a lot of stimulation I needed. I automatically thought, lady, Harley can pay you for this one. But just going with the flow, I said, yes, all right? Now, I had to do a live that Tuesday at 8:30 in a very important live. The session was at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. While I was doing that session, I was trying to show her a picture. And when I showed her a picture, I realized I had a text message from something I had been waiting to receive for 3 months, but it was not good news. I knew the text was coming. And I thought it was going to come in 5 days, and then 10 days, and then 30 days, and then 60 days. It came on the day I was in therapy, at the time I was in therapy. So we end up switching everything we were meant to talk about that. So I got the text message, and then I got a voicemail. I was able to read the text message, listen to the voicemail with my therapist, cry, have a fit, pass out, do all the things, dry my eyes, and get on that live at 8:30. If I would have canceled that session on that Friday, I would have been no good for that live on that 8:30, which was a very important live I had pushed all week, which reaffirmed to me, what's important for you, you will pay for. Because I would have missed, and I probably would have. It wouldn't have been good. Reality was I would have booked an emergency session and had to pay the money anyway. So what's important for you? You don't know what you're missing out of by not prioritizing the things that heal your soul. And that was it just reaffirmed to me the importance of that. So for those of you that listen, pay the money. Pay them people that money so you can get help if it's worth it. Jennifer asks, trauma-informed focus. I don't know, Jennifer, what that was for. Was it the discount I was talking about? The ladies for the Black female? Comment, Jennifer.
I said I am trauma informed focused.
Oh, great. All right. What does that mean? Because you put a question mark by that. What does that mean?
So I have been through training to help people deal with and resolve trauma.
Got it.
And so a lot of what I do with the course, it's called Soul Freedom, because we're really talking about principles and characteristics within you. And every session is about dealing with a principle or a characteristic within yourself.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I love that. Wow. So I'm glad you came back on, Thomas, because all of that needed to be said. I'm going to put Shantae's Linktree information in the YouTube video description box. So if you're watching this on Facebook, the replay on Facebook, come over to YouTube. Her contact information will be there as well. Golly Molly, I'm so, I really hate the audio was messed up, but this was good nonetheless. Thank you so much, Shuantae Charles.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad?
It wasn't that bad.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Okay, you answered her question. Thank you, Jennifer's question. All right.
Thank you for having me.
I done told you. Well, y'all watch what I do with Shantae Charles's name.
We need to have more guests on the show.
Oh,
I'm
but
just putting it out there.
guess no. But guess what? When we did this for Shantae, and then I interviewed the therapist that it was going to be coming live, we're going to make this a routine with this series. We're going to do the pre-interviews. We'll do a live, talk about it, and then the show will come afterwards. So this style that we're doing, this just got birth. So expect this to come, Thomas. So it's going to be.
And tomorrow I should be able to be on.
Uh-huh.
So don't tell her I'm coming.
So that's Thursday. That's Thursday.
Thursday, right? That's tomorrow, right?
No, today.
Yes, today's
That's tomorrow.
Wednesday.
God, yeah. All right. Because sometimes I come on Tuesdays, so like, okay, bet I won't say a word, so y'all won't tell nobody.
Don't tell her. Shh.
All
It's
right,
a
great.
secret.
Exciting. So no, Thomas, I like this too. And we're going to be doing the pre-interviews, the show. Y'all, if you enjoyed today's live, then check out the actual interview on tomorrow at 5 p.m. because it's going to be good. All right. Thomas, you might as well stay on till we end now. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Well, let me put this on here. Falana says, thank you, Shantae.
The highest
you,
in me honors the highest in you all.
Oh, absolutely. I love
Namaste to you
that.
too.
And the highest at me loves the highest in all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're watching the replay, you want to go how I'm saying this. If you watch the replay, before I add the interview that's clickable, search for the interview called Breaking the Cycles, episode 6 in the Abuse series. If you're watching the replay within 7 days from the 31st, there's going to be a box that's coming up real soon that you can click and watch the actual interview. Join my email community. There's a Linktree link inside of the video description box connected to this video to join my email community. All the emails are likened to what we talked about today. You can join my text club. You can be text when we go live or when I upload content. All of the content is connected to the soul healing of your soul. That information is in the video description box as well. To sow into safe space, it's in the Linktree link. To join my personal to join my private community is in the Linktree link. It's a 7-day subscription. Listen, you want to join tomorrow because tomorrow's going to be good. I think that's it. Yes, ma'am. What you got, Shantae?
It's not it.
What's that?
It's not it.
What's not it?
This is not the end.
What's the end?
Because you asked the Lord for a word.
Oh, good. I'm ready. I'm sorry. I'm so
Wake up, bitch. Wake up.
So as we end tonight, the word of the Lord comes to you and he says, I hear and see your silent frustrations. He said, but what you're doing is you're bringing together a band like David. You're bringing together a band of people like David. And they will wax larger and larger, stronger and stronger, bigger and bigger. You're gathering together people who have been rejected. And he said, just like David turned those men that had their miseries, that had their disappointments, he said, you're going to have a group of people that will become mighty because you decided to stick with it, even though you were frustrated. So sometimes you say to God, I don't know why you got me fooled up with this ragtag band of people.
Right. Yeah.
But he says he's causing you to gather them together because they're going to be mighty.
Absolutely.
They're going to be mighty.
Yeah. I received that. I received that. I received that strongly. and it goes in conjunction with something that was said to me about what's coming up next from someone else. So I received the word of the Lord, and the word of the Lord is received. I appreciate you. This is my kind of carrying on. We can do this all night. All right. Thank you all so much. If you're enjoying the energy that's on this show, then you want to join the private community, because that's all that's over there. A little bit of laughter, a little bit of fun, a whole lot of learning, but a spirit of purity, a spirit of peace. Uh, hold on. Hold on. That sounds just like him talking to God. Mind your business, Jennifer. So are you? Yeah, Shantae already in my business. You mind your business, Jennifer. No, but but there's a spirit of unity and peace and acceptance, because that's the reality. What I did when I created Safe Space, Thomas and Shantae, was I created a space that I needed, that I couldn't find. It's a space where you didn't have to put on the airs, and I don't have to talk a certain way or dress a certain way or give a certain amount. I just got to believe in myself. And so I understand what that means. And I understand the demographic and the type of person that's going to pull. And we're gonna show the world what it means to be mighty and pure, because there's so much examples of the mighty, excuse me, mighty seen and pure. Because I know a lot of mighty people that are not seen and they're not heard. And I know a lot of people that are seen and heard that are not mighty and are not pure. One of the reasons why I have Safe Space is because I want to create a birthing place for the pure to become mighty, because that is not what has been the example up until now. And so I want all the safe spaces that are listening to this or will listen to this. That's the energy that I'm injecting into that community. Grow up, become, because we need pure people that are mighty. And that's the reason. I'm not saying that I want to spread your name, Shantae, because I'm powerful, because you are pure and you're mighty and you need to be seen. There needs to be 1,000 Thomases and 1,000 Kashais and Jennifers and Terrells that hear your voice and look and go search that list of books and read it, and their lives are changed. We got everything else being heard. We need righteousness heard, and we need purity being heard. So, all right, y'all gonna get me stirred up now. So nonetheless, that's that. I love it. God bless all of you all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. for the private community. If you want to be a part, click the Linktree link. You can join for 7 days for free, and after that, it's $10. All right, y'all be blessed. Chat later. Bye-bye.